Hello, YouTubers. Paul here, Cade.io. And today I wanted to show you a few things. I broke out my test equipment here to compare PL barrel connector, or not barrel connectors, right angle connectors. As you can see, I've broken out my adapters and my nifty little SiteMaster analyzer that looks at antennas and match and so on and so forth. And this connector here, many years ago, I came across on the back of a commercial UHF transmitter that when we went to reach around back and take it off, this thing was running about 40 watts continuous duty, and it literally was so hot it burned us. And we were like, wow, that's really crazy. And as you can see, this is an Amphenol, brand new out of the package, new old stock. Let me show you how this is made, and I'll get into that a little bit better detail a little later. And this is the offshore Chinese counterpart, and I assume Chinese. It may be from some other part of the Asian basin, but probably not. This is my test setup. I'm running a calibrated load. I went through and did an open and a short, calibrated everything right out to here. So this system is calibrated, and my return loss is measuring SWR at 1:1, and you can see the little cursor going across, and it is basically calibrated for SWR. The frequency range is 10 megahertz to 460, so that's a pretty broad spectrum. And this thing did all the calibration, and in essence is correcting for any anomalies in the connectors here, in the cable, right up to the unit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in the Amphenol connector and show you what happens. Keep in mind, PL connectors are normally, that's what these are, PL. PL 259, SO 239, and so on and so forth. So what I'm doing is connecting in the Amphenol connector. So there it is. So now we've got a 90-degree connection. And here is the sweep of SWR on this setup. Okay, nice high quality, I assume made in the USA. I really don't know if it is, don't know as it says, but it is an Amphenol Bunker Ramo new old stock connector. So as you can see, the SWR is still fairly good. If we go to freak and marker and turn on marker 1 and raise it up, marker 1 please, thank you. Marker 1, yes, marker 1 is on. It's clear up here at the high frequency, and it said that at 460 megahertz, the SWR is 1.38. So for a PL connector, that's pretty good. So what that means is that raised the SWR a little bit, increased the reflected loss. And the reason is that is because these connectors are not 50 ohms. Never have been. And so basically this thing, and it's locked in, excuse me while I work on getting it loose. And I'm going to have to set the camera down. My apologies. There we go. And now let's put on the Chinese connector. Oop. Wrong one. There's the Chinese connector. Okay. And we'll connect this side down. Make sure everything is seated properly. And come up here and think, oh, it doesn't look that good, but let me turn my marker off. Ah, here we go. Look at that. Now this full scale is 10. So basically you can see the match is horrible. So let's turn M1 on. So at 460 megahertz, it has a 6.94 to 1 SWR. Wow, that's a lot. Let's move the cursor down to 220. A lot of hams are on 220. It's a 3 to 1. Let's go to, oh, I don't know, 2 meters. Whoop. It's a 2 to 1. Let's go to 6 meters. At 6 meters, we are about where the Amphenol was at 460 megahertz. And if we go all the way down to 10 megahertz, we are at 1.08. So that is what that connector is introducing as loss. Now you say, why is that? What in the world is the difference between the two? Well, I'm glad you asked. And let me set my phone down here. Excuse my fingers. But here is the inside of one of these connectors. Can you see that? Let me hold this up. That's a spring. And what's that spring doing? Well, if you can see down in this hole right here, it's making connection with that little pin down there. Okay? Wow. What crap. Now let's look at the Amphenol. Notice I'm unthreading it. It's a pin and a nice clear plastic center conductor. And here is how the Amphenol works. Basically, you've got a pin here that threads into this receptacle, and that all fits in some very nice high quality, I don't know if that's styrene or what kind of plastic, but you can see that's the inside of the connector. How much do you like your radio equipment? Think about that the next time you save a couple bucks buying a connector. I'm Paul, K8IO, 73, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you know the routine, press the like, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, and 73, K8IO.